You're at Supersport, you're still at the club. Was it what you expected it to be? Because I know you finished your 4-year term.
I believe with the Sana 31 jam. If Lopi Begupi.
First two years, I did great. Then in the last year of my contract, I played 3 games.
In depth, yezenzo zakho, ukuze ube injury prone. What is it that you indulge in?
Yeah, at the time I was doing all the things soccer players are known for, in a sense.
His industry.
Tell people what Izada Boys was inspired by Tusopal and Kabuza.
What happened to the group?
As much as we were a group of Zeta boys, but at the end of the day, everyone has their own career.
How much damchigel?
Hey, Nyamuza Kulman in English.
1989 Crawford la.
I went to school at Hoërskool Sedelig.
Phela angizwanga boy.
Hoërskool Sedelig.
Let's make fun of yebo sijukujuku wamawala wamavulavala wama-wader wama-international mfana kacheku mfana today mamelani bafethu trap and pass season 2 sijuku and Gerald bafethu sivakashile njengoba kwi-off season sila e-Orlando Stadium bafethu angihambi ngiyi-1 bafethu niyazi ngihlale ngihamba ne-cousin yami ne-twins lam abanye bathi sesiyafana mina no-Gerald bafethu kodwa namhlanje siphethe umfana kacheku umfana today uThabo Mnyamane danke impilo danke imali Gerald lithi ngilitraphe ngiliphasele wena mpinjama.
He's a top class finisher who played for a host of football clubs including 3 call-ups with Bafana uzozikhulumela ukuthi igama lakhe ubani. You are on Trap and Pass featuring Stu and Gerald.
Yeah, Thabo Mnyamane here. I'm very excited and privileged to be on Trap and Pass with you guys. I don't know what to expect, but let's get to it.
So ngicela ukubuza wena ucabanga ukuthi ama-Zeta boys bamjikele ngoba ukhuluma English?
Awushade eli. Mase ukhuluma ngokuphela. Ngiyaza ngithi siyasixoxa.
Intwana beshaya net Stu beshaya net ingana stress sokushaya net be enjoy ukushaya net mara ezibhayo uzoziringa yena angifuni ukuthatha ishow yakhe ngiyenze yami asimjinde yena azibiki ukuthi ubani kambani.
No stress.
Hola boy.
Hola Khotman.
Sure.
Sharp. Thabo Mnyamane here. I'm very grateful for you guys for having me on Trap and Pass, and I don't know what to expect, but I'm very excited.
Hey, Nyamuza ukhuluma ne-English. You know, you speak Polish English, man. No, it's fine. It seems like we're gonna enjoy you today. Yeah, so mpela sichazele like sifuna ukwazi yabona like ama-trappers afuna ukwazi ukuthi who's Thabo, you understand? Who's Thabo like kahle kahle udlaleleni ma team since kwaqala kwaba uqale wadlalelani.
Just a brief background is that Thabo is a simple guy, stand-up guy, I like to think. From varsity, I managed to get my first PSL contract 2013, and then obviously I paid for tax, moved from tax to Supersport, and then from Supersport I moved to TTM/Marumo Gallants, and then today I'm here with you guys, and I'm just going to enjoy the show.
I hear you start your introduction by saying from varsity to tax.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of players that visit us or ex-footballers that visit us and mention school and then football. How does that come about? Your school background, your educational background, like Kaslako, how do you land at varsity and how do you ultimately join Pretoria University?
Okay, Ikasi, I'm from Val, Zibukeng.
Na abantu ababuye eValwa yambona njani?
Yeah, no, anyambona. Yeah. So from Val's booking, and then I managed to get into varsity via a football scholarship, NW, Mafikeng, and then I did my 3-year diploma in sports science. When I graduated, that's when I moved to Tux. In a nutshell, obviously, brief background is that I always believed in the 3 pillars of an individual, which is football, education, and safety or home, I might say. And luckily, I managed to have a great home that invested in me in terms of football and pushing me to do education. And then in terms of the other pillar, which is football, is that I used the football to get an access to education, free education via scholarship. And then I managed to study and further my studies. And yeah, I managed to be there for 3 years and graduate and get to play pro.
So you come from Strugo's side of town,
Yeah.
which is the Val, and there's been a lot of players that come from a rich talent that comes from the Val. I mentioned about Steve Likwele in the past, about China Masondo.
Yeah.
Currently they have Urilebohile Mfukeng, who's doing amazing things for the senior team at Orlando Pirates. Did you always start out at the Val? Because this is the first time I found out which now you're one of the players at Val. And how is your relationship with everybody I've just mentioned from that side?
Yeah, so weird enough, I actually played in the same team as Thabo Mnyamane. So we grew up playing in the same team.
Kingstomana.
Yeah, so
Good.
So we played for Junior Alliance together, and then both of us went to NW Mafikeng. So I have a great relationship with Thabo, even with Rele, China, Steve. Obviously, I looked up to Steve because of the technique, the free kicks, and I kind of modeled my set piece game around him because he was a great set piece taker. And obviously, I drew from Rachale's confidence in terms of he never lost his identity even when he turned pro. I'm happy to see that the young boy also from Val is doing well at Orlando Pirates, and he's still maintaining the identity of people from Val, which they have the flair, they have the skill, and the charisma. So yeah.
So you mentioned the good things about them. Would you also say they are challenged in terms of their all-round behavior in the sport? Because a lot of them aren't known for ending on a high note. It's visible. I can mention everybody that I think is from the Val that didn't end on a high.
I think it's there's not a lot of chances, So once you get the exposure, you get the financial muscle, and sometimes you're not financially inclined to do good decisions, and then you tend to dive into bad behavior. Let me put it frank, bad behavior, and obviously that cripples your performance on the field, and then it leaks out to the papers, and then before you know it, you have this kind of a stigma of players around Val, which they have bad behavior, they don't know how to handle themselves out of the field, and it's a concern because it happened generation after generation, and obviously it's not nice sitting here and speaking about our players from Val and in a bad light, but that's where we are and we have to fix it, for the upcoming players.
From what I'm saying, here's another view, because we decided we don't want him this side. So
there's something that I want to ask you, Thabo.
Yeah.
But you need to assess this zone. Even if you can speak Polish English. Yeah. Like you're still 31.
Yeah.
I believe with Sana 31 jam. And me also able to like me also able. If lo pibe kuphi.
Yeah.
Like if lo pibe kuphi, because angikhumbuli ngibona mina kuzinto ezihong ibathi uyaphuza uyadakwa ubhizi namantombazana out. Only thing that I know ukuthi mohlala uno Tebohomloyi and you even Menis scheme. I know you had a name Menis Biza. What's a Menis Biza over no 3?
Zeta Boys.
Zeta Boys. Yeah, you used to call yourself Zeta Boys. So when's Agalin? What happened? Because I thought you guys the winning a corner Leona Zeta Boys are gonna bukekan. You're gonna elevate no. So what happened? Because I believe no go to women so in Bugbatol. If you like truly speaking, or Nama,
I be finishing.
We understand. So what happened?
Yeah, I'd say I arrived at Supersport. I had a first grade season, and then the second season I started breaking down because of injuries. And I would say that, as I said, once you start getting the financial muscle, you tend to do certain things which are not proper. And then I would say that I started breaking down because of I wasn't taking care of my body properly as I should.
Okay.
And then obviously that caught up with me over the years, you know.
Okay.
And as much as we were a group of Zeta boys, but at the end of the day, everyone has their own career. And they propelled to greater heights. And then obviously my career took a pivot. And I ended up at TTM Marumo Gallants, which I would say, in hindsight, you can say, look, it was a bad move, but I got there, I won the Nedbank in the first season, and then second season we got to the Nedbank final as well. We played in the CAF. So as much as it was not the biggest team in South Africa, but I would say career-wise, move-wise, and cabinet-wise, it brought me a trophy. It opened my channel to play in CAF again, you know. But yes, would have liked to maybe to move to a bigger team with a great image, yes. But it didn't happen, but I can't, you know, cry over spilled milk. I'm here because of my own decisions, but I'm still 31, which is not the end of the road.
You're a baby. 31, Sangal Shah for the next 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And Mr. mentions Amazeda boys, and they'll obviously influence what we want to know about you. Do you think begune loyalty? Amazeda boys, ayephi manje? What happened to the group? Because if Ben Kotlisana ngokuthi brothers for life, the brothers are still alive. Is the friendship still alive? Again, if why? Because when I was sadly, amachita saphelela nisaploma.
Yeah, obviously the game dismantled because I moved to Polokwane, and when I moved there, obviously the distance, as much as we're trying to communicate, but we don't hang out like we used to do at Supersport, because at Supersport we're together every day on Tola. So when I moved to Polokwane, that connection was lost. And as I said, my life took a pivot, and I was at a point in my life where I saw things for what they were. I was in Polokwane, my wife was there, my newborn baby, and I started seeing life in a different light. And certain things were not exciting me anymore, you know. And obviously when you take a pivot or when you turn, some things do fall off, you know. Some things, friendships do fall off, connections do fall off, and it's not that we're beefing or it's not that we're not friends. We're still cordial, we still call each other when we can. If I bump into someone, I won't like just mice them, you understand? But I think my life took a turn and I just started living a different life in a sense, if I can put it like that.
Strugu, yazi ngiyamuza upho yakhuluma mara sikhona stress esincanyana singishayayo. Ngathi ufuna ukungiphazamisa nangesingamlanyana. Uyashelela ndoda.
Sakhe ngiyasizwa bathi polished.
Akuna 1989 Crawford la.
Ushaye Polish English.
Mamela uzositshela yena ukuthi kuza kanjani, because we are not known at Skin as people abaringa isingami la. Yabona manje sengize ngizama ukuringa njengosijuku ukuthi singaloku sikhompyutha ngathi uyangihlula vele. Bowugeleza va where you had such grooming yokuthi uringe comfortably kanje, and seriously ucabanga ukuthi amazela boys aphulwe ukuthi isingami la vele amajita abhayisisela.
No, not even. So I went to school at Hoërskool Sedelig.
Phela angikuzwanga boy.
Hoërskool Sedelig.
Lezi ngifunda kuso.
Okay, it's true.
Yeah, so I'd say that's where I got my education, and yeah, but I think English is a universal language, so I think anyone can just speak English how they feel comfortable. And then how I got discovered, yeah, as you can hear, it's Hoërskool, so there was not a lot of football. I was actually into athletics. I was doing athletics like predominantly until matric, and then in matric I got a scholarship to do athletics or soccer. And then that's when I chose soccer. That's when I moved to NW Mafikeng. So yeah, my high school life, to be honest, I did play football, but I was more leaning towards athletics, you know. And then yeah, in terms of Zeta boys, I think we're all comfortable in speaking English. We're very fluent. Yeah.
Huh? Except
Nuban.
I know. Except
Yeah,
you.
nambe ngiyakuthathela
Grant, I know.
Debza sisonke boy ngiyakuthanda uyazi nawe.
There's a story that I want you to tell me, Jam. Yabona nami sengazathi manje ngikhuluma English.
Yeah.
You know le nto inezela boys. Please, I mean I still see there's something esale ngicabanisa mpinjam. Cause you guys had what foundations, I'm right, and
Yeah.
mina hamba nonke kuma foundation wenu bani foundation iniyopha abantu ukudla. So after lapho don't you, I understand, Guti. Is it because of when maybe you take a 10 year you know, now I want to get married. I know.
Right. She's colored.
She's colored, yeah.
So when we are born in well.
So Thabo, tell us challenge ukuthi like le 10 le uthi uyithatha, how was things? Uyithathe because of wena sokhathele ukujola kakhulu.
Ngoba uyambona umnandi ngathi bekumuntu wabonana.
Hey, yeah, boys make ama fuck boy vele. I know. So uyithathe wena le 10 because of like ubona ukuthi so right.
Yeah, not
explain le 10. Mina ngifuna explain le 10.
Obviously, 2020, my contract ends at SuperSport, So when the contract ends, I'm thinking what a big team's gonna come knocking. Obviously, I'm told. A month go by, second month doesn't happen. So now I'm in a situation. I'm like, okay, I just had a newborn baby, lockdown, and then at the time, obviously, my wife is not working because obviously we just had a baby. So manje, that's when things are like they're real, you know. Lento le my lifestyle, what. It's not exciting anymore.
Sure.
It's now to focus on putting bread on the table and being the person that is gonna lead your family and whatnot. Yeah, so that's why I say when I moved to Polokwane, that's when I started. I can distancing myself from Amachita.
Okay.
Yeah, and as I said, that lifestyle costed me to get injuries and then want to break down and whatnot.
And I'm a porn star now.
Aibo.
I understand Pretoria Valley.
Yeah, let me speak for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been allowed. Let me put it like that.
I understand. The team made less SuperSport, but hey, you have the guys like O2, so.
Yeah, but
So what's my lanja?
Hey, I need to.
Show the way you omelele little team now.
No, men pega from distance. You understand, Bicham. So, like when I'm here with you, when I'm on, kulmela when with Mongalal.
Yeah, and kulmela me.
Oh, so me cost abo mama injury.
Yeah. So and then that's when I moved to Polokwane. I distanced myself, and then as I said, the communication broke down, and then I got a big injury in Polokwane.
Okay.
When I got a big injury in Polokwane, that's when you start seeing who's who. Who's checking up on you, who's doing 1, 2, 3, and then you start seeing this is the people that are in my life when things are tough. And then you take it from there. Basically, I get you down now.
Sharp, yeah.
There's no one. You just have maybe 4 or 5 people. From there, you build from there. Even when the life picks up again, these are people that I want to stay in my life. And then I guess the rest didn't bother when I was down, meaning that even when I'm up again, there's no point of still trying to reach out in a sense. So that's where the pivot came and that's where the change came.
Totally answer boyfuna sjo. Amachita amjikela.
Yeah, amachita amjikela.
Amachita amjikela.
Amjikela amachita.
Ngoba amachita wahlala eCape Town ukuthi badinga iflight ukumshayela around.
Amachita can drive.
If usepulukwane ukhawathekile badlalela amaclub amakhulu bebadlala bonke bamateammates SuperSport. Shoot bavanga ikar abavayi ngekar encane uthi angifuna ukubiza ikar mhlamba bavanga ama VW ke. Ngoba sabangani be VW like no problem. Mara uThabo ufuna ukurenela amajita ngathi
amajita bad blood akafuni like bad blood
and asithi abaqede but sithi asikhuze lezi ezinye ukuthi ayisipandile ngokuthi ibane lelo selikhawathekile seka ngaphandle manje kuze kuphele namazeda boys because izeda eli1 alisekho mnandi kahle so uzosiphazamisa cause thina sentweni then what is the use yokuthi lentwana siloku sithi bade lam mas ejiming should mele icedwe le nto ukuthi uvela uthi colleague hello colleague bye bye colleague ngoba lokuthi awuthiyama mara makuntswembu bakuvalela ngaphandle angi understand so kushuthi wena le suspicion yakho ikhona uThabo ufuna ukuyikhusela ayisipad so nyaphuma sijuku uyangikhenya indaba I setup yakhona because nyayazi feeling yokuvaleleka ngaphandle uvana abantu ngoba manje awusekho right iphone number yakho iyafreezwa ukuthi somfonela ngelinye ilanga masidinga ukukhuluma naye if uzobuye entweni.
Yeah, Gerald, ngiyakuzwa ukuthi uthini. Yazi le case le yabangani. Nami ngumuntu wabangani yabona Mpintshami ngokutshela ivari ngumuntu wabangani. Most abangani bam maybe you know. Most of my friends like I knew them ngena next.
Yeah.
Like mesingena for call you understand. So like itheme baqala abantu baba top they start seeing you as an enemy of success, as an enemy of progress.
Yeah,
you understand? Umuntu ekubeni uqale naye ningena focal le feeling leyo nyayicava le feeling enibhlungu mpijama uhlala uyiwani uzibuza sometimes nokufuna ukufonela umuntu ungazi ukuthi ngimfonele or ngingamfoneli, but once waqala sengathatha uyazimela. I think maqala sengazathi uyazimela ilaba azobuya khona. So since when mina ngifuna ukwazi ngesituation sakho sokuthi ufile kanjani izela boys iphukile phela izela boys mina kanje yeah yini like lento le ukuthi kuze kanjani nijoine kuze kanjani ibize zela boys.
So yeah, I need to, when I signed, I went to tax, and then obviously mangifike tax
no grant
and then Grant Ukraine is a cool guy and very good friend, and then we started being friends together, and then Grant Avayagu Super Sport, and then I was at tax, and then the following season, that's when I moved to Super Sport. So when we figure Super Sport, obviously the familiar faces were Grant. So obviously I'm going to be more drawn to him because we have a friendship already. And then I think a month later, then Aubrey came. When Aubrey came, there was an instant connection between Aubrey and I. And then after that, he was my roommate, and then obviously Grant, and then we kind of integrated, and then we became, as I said, the Zeta boys. And then we started being friends. We did great things on the field, off the field, in terms of trying to elevate our lives, trying to give back to the community, you know. So it wasn't all about a lifestyle and whatnot, mischievous, but it was more of, we were trying to also elevate our lives, you know. But obviously, as you said, this thing of friendships, when it breaks down, when the friendships break down, it's sad. Yeah, it's
because there's a code, is that a boy?
Yes, that's a code.
Ikhona. Like khuluma ngitshela wasanja ikhona izela boy uwephela ongekho kuzela boy. Yeah ngithunge ukuchubeka.
Yeah, so obviously it's sad, it's not a nice thing, but one learn from it. Yeah, you learn from it ukuthi sometimes you friends because of what you do. Yeah, but not because of any other reasons. You're not friends because of you came from the trenches together. You're friends of because you met at a space where all of your guys' lives were good. And then when things change for one person, then obviously the dynamics change. And speaking on that, even with friendships, it's very sad to see when youngsters come into the light, into the PSL, they start having entourage. You know, you can see it all around. When they start having a name, that's when you start seeing 7, 6, 5 friends every time around him. You understand? But then if you look at the relationship dynamics, you can see that there's no loyalty, there's no depth. It's just based on association. You go to somewhere. So we just want to be seen around him so that we can also draw from what he's getting. The limelight, the girls, the access to the clubs, this and that. But there's nothing great about that friendships. And you'll see it when you get injured or when you don't have a contract. That's when you see who your friends are.
Like young Kenya, because like Gamampela ngoba I'm a player as our understanding day one. I was told that I didn't listen. I'm sure Thabo had it in his life or in his career. I didn't listen. A friendship, if I'm a footballers, I foundation.
Yeah.
But bahlangana sebana bangale kwe 18 years. Bakhohlisane, and there's always an element yokuthi feathers of a birds something
fly together.
Yeah. Mabangahlanganiswa ikhekhe. Bahlanganiswa utshwala. It is never about staying behind and doing extra training. Ukuthi ubalu Aubrey lapho is left-footed. Grant is a right back. So now he's a finisher. He's got 2 players that are on both sides of the park that can do their own little pattern of play, cross him the ball to finish, tap in, low as he lifts it, header, top corner, to become better. Is that a boys iyaziwe ngokwenza into right, as you mentioned, but most importantly, enhance the abilities of what made them become friends in the first place, football. But it's always the opposite. Bahlanganiswa into snacks. Ukhuluma ngama club. He got an injury that meant he needed an operation that I know about. Ukuthi marumo Gallants yamphathisa ikhanda makumela yenze in terms of ukushesha bam fix. And mawubheka ibuyava ebanganini. So Thabo, ngifuna uku understand ukuthi Small things. Players who are friends, ngeke bakunike i-5,000 yokubhayi igawulo uthi soccer boots. Do they give you boots?
No, I have a sponsor. So honey grand, I don't need the boots.
Manje lapho beyobalanda la abasebenza khona. Mara awuthi now you are at SuperSport. Besides ubungani, your stay at the club, was it what you expected it to be? Because I know you finished your 4-year term.
Yeah. Yeah, just let me touch on the friendships. In terms of Zeta Boys, as I said, it was not only based on lifestyle. We were doing extras, I won't lie to you. The reason why Aubrey can kick free kicks, I can kick free kicks. The reason why Grant is flourishing, Debs is kicking the free kicks is because we did work on our craft. Good. The thing about the friendship, it was a good friendship. I'm not going to lie to you. It was holistic. We were not perfect. Hence I said, we did the right things, we also did the wrong things. But holistically, it was a good friendship in terms of we worked on the field and you could see the fruits, you understand? And that's where they are today because they do put in the effort.
I take back my animation.
Yeah. And then in terms of SuperSport, yes, I stayed my full term, 4 years. As I said, towards the end of my stay at SuperSport, I started breaking down, and then obviously as a team, we were going into COVID, so it was 2020, and I was on my last year of my contract. The team had to make a decision to say they needed to cut certain players which were not in a sense contributing to the team at that point, and I was one of them, and I understood because first two years I did great at SuperSport, and then I started breaking down. Then in the last year of my contract, I played 3 games. So obviously when your contract ends and you're a team owner, you don't want to renew someone's contract that's constantly breaking down and only played three matches in the whole season, you understand? So I understand completely the decision of the team. And was it nice? No. As a player, you expect some sort of loyalty, but this is football, this is business. And it was COVID, so they needed to cut costs. And I was on the other end of the stick, you understand? And I was not the only player that they released. There were a few of us. So I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, they released me alone and whatnot. No. I was part of players that were released and I went somewhere else. And it's part of life, it's part of football, it happens. But I just want to touch on the fact that as soccer players, we need to be very wise in terms of when your contract is ending, where are you in the team? Are you a starter? Are you on the bench? Or you just a fringe player? Because that determines if this team's going to renew or not. And some of us, we don't pay attention to that until it's too late. And then we come back and cry to go to, this team released me. But if you look back, you didn't contribute in your last contract, you understand? Yeah.
Yeah, so Nyaguzwa Thibo, there's a lot ekumele siringe ngazo uthi mara sithathe ibreak uyazi ukuthi half time sishaya ivati kancane masibuya ngifuna ukukubuza ngeSuperSport United your time there things that you had hoped for ezingenzekanga and the many other conflicts you had either with teammates or the clubs that you later went on to. But okwanoshuku athi ngibambe la uthi nami ngifuna ukuphumula kancane ngishaya ivati.
Ngiyakuzwa Gerald njani bafethu mamelani ke asithini shwi lapha kushaba sikhona for i-second half bafethu mamelani driven by VW the clan asibonge.
Bathi sanibonani dumelange lochani yenda diso boy shaba embasara machuki abangazi bathi shaba machuki cousin ka Beyonce ex ka Cardi B and ngizwa bathi ngegama elihle nginikezwe lona bathi Mr we love to hate him and hate to love him but ke ngibuyile with your weekly dose lana ku Trap and Pass on a segment called Ishaba's Corner driven by EVW the clan bafethu it's off season manje kuyabanda mina vele ngivele ngazithelela amanzi wamashisa escooping samsethulita ngazingenele engubeni ngoba angiyifuni inkulumo athi singene kuma national team duties all eyes on CAF Group C for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Ibafana bafana ibhekane nabo Nigeria, abo Zimbabwe, abo Lesotho, abo Rwanda, abo Benin, and we as a nation bafana kaufela. We wish all the best to Ibafana Bafana. And also, ungakhohlwa kushubile kuma PSL playoffs. You can catch the action live ku SuperSport TV. Hayi bobafethu. Ngizwa there is a former Mamelodi Sundowns player that has shown interest and financial effort to purchase Maritzburg United. I wonder ubani as lelo player. And ngisho njengoba kuyi off season kanje you miss some of your favorite Orlando Pirates players, right? Thini ukushayeke ngeplug-ke. An original Orlando Pirates production presents to you a 3-part docu-series ibizwa ngokuthiwa i-Bucks Camp The Change Room. I-episode yokuqala iqala nge-16 zaka-June 6 p.m. on SuperSport Channel 202. Mangangikholwa na i-video.
I'm not here to say anything actually. I'm just curious to see how you behave after a shit performance like this. I'm surprised nobody's telling anything, nobody's fighting, nobody's shouting, nobody's feeling the pain of this. It's because we don't give a shit.
You cannot go to tackles, no jewels, nothing. I'm afraid I must be honest. You what you are doing when I was fired for this.
Come here and then scream at changing room and see their bosses here. We have done something. We're so fucking sure on the field. Finish.
We're working too hard, we're working so hard for this. Really, every day. We can meet on Friday, yeah? And we go to the game, we don't need to drink, we don't need to do anything. Perform like this.
And that's all for Ishaba's Corner this week. To wonke ama-pillar of strength this Sunday City. Happy Father's Day to Abotai Mabe too.
Yeah, bafethu sesibuyile ke manje ku second half. Siyabonga shaba ntwana yami strong, ntwana yami powerful, shaba wama 2K bafethu. Manje ke sekuzoshukwa manje second half manje ke ngena mina ke manje ngifuna ukwazi ngale ndaba zomjolo nani yazi mina ngithanda lezo baba ude baba before shada mojola nobani ucawuthi angaze ninyazi Gerald thingilitrephe ngiliphasele wena mpintshami.
Ngize ngiyathuka for yena ngoba ngiyakwazi maso motivated kanje. Shoti sozigubhile la uzigubhe khona indaba zentwana.
Uyaphenika na.
But
Zomenshini XA1 athula awuniphuza ngakakanani manje.
Angithemba ukuthi uyaphenika. Ibheka shaya inet easy kanje. Mina ngifuna as-explainele because masiyophumula soshaya ivati sithe kuye sifuna ukucava ngezinto ezenzeke ku SuperSport. Ama-injury, i-course yawo, and ungazafulela ukuthi akungene lo. Ngokuthi uring ukuthi i-depth yezenzo zakho ukuze ube injury prone. What is it that you indulge in that got you injury prone? Because it's always one thing. If it's not the sex, it's the alcohol. But mzoyekelela wena usexplainele ukuthi bekuhambani. Who are the boys you were hanging out with at the club? La amanye amachita mawavaya labe waya khona.
Obviously, my time in SuperSport was great. I played with I'll say my childhood heroes. I played with the likes of Yeye, Tuso, Masha, Morgan, so George, so my time was great. But on my personal standpoint is that obviously, as I said, the injuries came when I started, how can I say, diluting my philosophy in a sense of living. I started not sleeping well, clubbing, going out clubbing, not eating well in terms of nutrition. And at the time, my wife now, she was not around. She was in China, you understand? So I was not sleeping well. I was not eating well.
So you're married to a Chinese woman?
No, she was in China.
Oh, okay.
She was in China. I was not eating well, I was not sleeping well, and that contributed to my injuries. And yeah, I started breaking down. And then, as I said, I started not playing, and then my contract ended.
But when's Ireland? Because it's happened when speaker with DJ.
Yeah.
So, because I look at you now, your personality does not say ngasuku mangchive manje.
Yeah, looks can be deceiving. I'm kidding. Yeah, obviously at the time, yes, I was indulging in alcohol. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you go to the club, you order bottles, you try to show off. You do weird things. You know, you spend money, you splash. You want to attract a certain crowd. You want to attract girls, and at the time you think that's profitable, but now that you look back, you reflect, you realize that life is not really profitable, you know? And yeah, at the time I was doing all the things soccer players are known for, in a sense.
His industry.
And there's something that people don't know, and you don't want to talk about it. There's something that you don't want to talk about it, and people they don't know about it. Tell people Luguti Izada Boys was inspired by Tusopal and Kabuza. when you guys Izada Boys, when you see Kabuza and Tusopal, you went man, and you need to know Tusopala, Megumunto stock, Kabuza Munto stock, Abalala Obantulab. Agnaguti Ninga Ongamba Nomfundi Sininga Lazi Pipe. Injuries was caused by not sleeping well. You don't even mention changing girls.
I was not changing.
No ways. No ways.
I was not changing.
Okay, just that I don't know how to mention.
Yeah, you made yake bese China mate.
Yeah. So when I'm umile yakho wena Thabo umile uthi.
Bona umuntu webhaluni wena mbekile
uthi mina ngiyamela. So when I'm umile and that time phela mina Izada Boys ngiyacaba ukuthi mina ngithanda ugabuza.
And they Chinese now.
Faults. No, but when she was not there at the time. Gabuza came in a later stage.
Yes, but then Tusopala. This touch didn't get Tusopala.
Yeah,
you love Tusopala. And Tusopala, ngeke usukuthanda umfundisi ongalazi iBhayibheli.
Yeah.
Tusopala mekangalali, achinja amantombazane. Yeah, like hlale kunyiwa. So, don't you think maybe now injury yakho was caused by changing girls? Because I know Pretoria girls if it balahlile and meku which ama boy, the rest laba kuzela boys igobo. Abanye igobo. Mina mengiyazi le nto ngisahlale soyithi badayile uThabo Mnyamane. Vele kungena nganye ebantwaneni. Mina I knew that. Uthi girls from Pretoria mebathanda wena plus ne-accent. Khona manje ngizwe accent yakho. You understand? Khona manje ngizwa manje accent yakho uthi vele mebathi Thabo Mnyamane istorm ezimthanda ne-accent. Lezo zinye vele zimbi. So was it caused by footing namantombazane? Don't tell me ukuthi mina ematlapini wena muthi my wife is at China, I'm going back home uvala amehlo.
Yeah,
so kulile manje we just talking about something yakudala manje so
unless both shana ama player ama teammate abojola nabafana then sizovuma sothini impilo injalo.
No,
okay. Just chill,
clubbing and then as I said you attract a certain crowd which is girls obviously, and then obviously you meet someone, you hang out with someone, and then you're going. And I do agree with you. At the time, yes, girls were involved, and yeah, it was the life that we were living. Or let me speak for myself. I was living in a sense.
For next, boys. I was
no, I need to. I'm here alone.
Yeah, when I was as full like that. No, right. Mamel, ungabuya la kuzeda boys. Remember that kuzeda boys. Manje. But mo phuma la ya kuzeda boys street. Please tell us, but na option. Mo phuma la ya kuzeda boys. Would you go back?
No, my life is different now. So I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is a corny Izada Boys.
I wouldn't know.
Uvumile eqaleni. I know now. Izada Boys is a corny. So yini into like wena Thabo ungazithandanga ngezada boys lezi mizinto ezenza kudala. Is it clubbing? Ngicela umention like clubbing what and then let us know ukuthi manje njengoba soshadile kanje yini ongasayenzi le mina yenza kudala ngezada boys. Manje so wenza 1, so wenza 2, so wenza 3 because people wanna know abasakuboni ediskini and yeah.
So for me, for me is that the lifestyle changed.
Sure.
I'm speaking for myself.
Right? I do myself.
Yeah. The lifestyle changed. Yes, I don't club anymore. I don't drink anymore.
Serious?
Yeah, I sing grand.
I was opposing next.
Yeah.
You've changed.
Yeah, I don't drink. I don't club. I don't find myself in spaces where I'm with girls in a sense. You understand? Yeah. So
you're always with the wife now.
I'm always with my wife. Yeah, so I've changed. I'm always at church. Like I've changed drastically. So
which church?
Hillsong.
Lao my English, ne?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've changed drastically, and yeah, that life doesn't excite me anymore, and that's where I am now in life, and yeah.
Yazi njengoba manje yabona off season and everything. Njengoba Gerald mentionile makakubuzanga something ngama grandstand yabona kuthulile kuthethu. Please tell me one moment osayikhumbula ukuthi eyabamnandi kuwe ukuthi wayenzani like in off season. In off season isho ukuthini kahle kahle.
There was nothing crazy about off season to be honest, because the whole season you work, you play, you train, you know whatnot. So I don't have a crazy off-season story.
Okay.
Unless when we are yeah, but yeah, like my off-seasons were pretty the same. Either book a 10-day in Cape Town.
Okay, will you go alone or Zeda Boys?
No, with my wife or yeah. So like usually my off seasons I used to spend it with my wife. We don't spend a lot of time together during the season. So yeah, there was nothing crazy that I did off season that I remember.
Nabantwana bangaki?
One.
When's your off season?
No, just during actually off season. Now that I think
off season kusho special.
Oh yeah, lapho uyathumela futhi.
Akusekumele besangoma uyabona mos.
Uyathumela bemdlala ndoda unathi wenziwa off season. Impahla awuhambi nangazo lapho. Uhamba angazi wena kuzoba right now. Unga enjoy mara uyahlanya vele wena unga enjoy baye kwenzele off season yakho manje.
Ngiyithatha futhi mina.
Uyabona mara intwana wena sithu. Ngifila ngathi redemption iguye uyayifuna usounda remorseful of izinto ezimenzakalele. Mina maybe wrong. But una 31 sithu. Akana 38. Njengabanye abantu abakhe bafika la bangafuna ukuvuma ezabizona. Uyazivuma la lezi zinto lezo umthwesa zona. So wena ucabanga ukuthi i-verify i-trans yakhe ukuthi iphuma endleleni.
Mina ngizokutshela iqiniso. Mina to mina mengibheka Gerald. Ayangazi mfana. Because nomuntu lo mfethu noma ngalali but he was never
So kunomuntu orinene ngendaba esikhalakhala ucabanga ukuthi sikhona kuyi in this case. Or ufuna ukumbuza wena?
Indawo nalabo amazela boys amapedi yo.
Ayithathe ke. Ithathe.
Angazi mfethu like mengithoka understand indaba esikhalakhala and lo muntu ngeka right mfethu. You understand? Oh maybe wasale baba nomona ukuthi ushade eqala ne?
Yeah.
Hey.
So do you believe in indaba zomchemical ukuthi people use that I've come out and raised my hand ukuthi it was mentioned to me when things were not going well ngisadlala idisk ukuthi wangayikulu mama wase Stratton ses3 and I'd flatly refused ukuthi no angizingeni lezo zinto lezo. Do you believe that thing happens in football? Do you believe it was done to you or since usonta you are God person awucabanga ukuthi khona?
Obviously they know I believe 100% ukuthi as much as ngisonta and whatnot, but I know that there's certain things that other people are practicing which are not biblical in a sense. So yes, it was mentioned to me. My parents mentioned it. Why don't you go see someone? Why don't you do this, slaughter this, and do that to cleanse and whatnot? But it goes against my personal principles. You understand? Even before ngisonta and whatnot, it's just something that I never practiced. I do believe they're there. I do believe people try and do their weird things. And I said before, and I've always said it in the change rooms wherever I'm at, even if you do it, it's fine. They will work now. But yeah, pay disc. When we're 35, 36, yeah, pay. And then what? Yeah, after that, where you gonna go? You're gonna go to corporate and use that in corporate. So they are there, but yeah, you can use it for the next 8 years. But after that, then what? You're gonna live your life knowing that, were you that good of a soccer player or was this things working for you? You're gonna always have that wonder if you're using those things. Was I that good or was it because of those things that I was using that I managed to get this career out of it?
Since you don't believe in the chemical, what was the cause of the misfortune? It also stretches wider. Clubs that came knocking, I know Pirates for one came looking for you, and it was rumored you were moving on to Orlando Pirates, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think Khala is the reason why I didn't move to Pirates or Sundowns or wherever, when the rumors were there. But I think it's because at the time, if you go back to 2019 and you go read articles about me, every second or third article was Mnyamane out injured for, Mnyamane injured this, Mnyamane is set back. So obviously, as clubs that are looking to sign you, and they see that Umchita, he's always out. And as I said, my last season I only played 3 games. If you are owner of the next team, you play 3 games, you're not gonna reconsider is this guy injury prone or is he really gonna give me what I think he can give me? So I think the reason why I didn't move to a big team at the time was because of the injuries. But also again, now that I'm reflecting, I think it was gonna be the end of me if I moved to a Pirates with Sundowns with the lifestyle I was living. I think it was gonna be worse, actually. So as much as I wanted to, I'm grateful that I didn't move to to the big teams at the time because it was going to be to my detriment. Because a premature blessing is actually a curse. Benzo figure and then do well, but then this lifestyle catches up with me, and then I don't know what was going to happen. You understand? I was going to end up worse off than now. So I think, in a way, the cards that were dealt to me were the right ones, to be honest, to get me where I am today.
The lifestyle. What is that lifestyle?
It's obviously that's
what more hectic cool.
No, not even
lifestyle means of bulala ngabusale big team. We should know more lifestyle is serious. What is this lifestyle?
No, maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but when I say the lifestyle, I mean, obviously as a soccer player, you're exposed, as we mentioned, to girls, to alcohol, to sleepless nights, and I believe with more money and less maturity, you're gonna end up doing more of that. You're gonna end up drinking more. You're gonna end up being with more girls. You're gonna end up sleeping less because now your budget goes up. So if your budget is 50K, you're gonna spend 10K, right? If your budget goes to 100K, you're gonna spend 25. If it goes to 200, you're gonna spend 50. That's what I'm saying. If it was premature blessing, it was gonna be to my detriment because I was gonna have the budget to do this thing, which it was gonna cost me at the end, I'm told. So that's what I mean by lifestyle in a sense.
So do you think the drinking problem yakho?
No, I didn't have a drinking problem.
Okay. Do you think the lifestyle yakho may cause because you were not playing?
Yeah, I'd say it's not caused because I was not playing, it's because
the injuries.
I was injured. Instead of working on me getting back, I had free time to
went into the snacks,
the wrong things, and that's where some things become habitual. You do it one weekend, you do it 2 weekends. Now you started doing it every weekend. It now becomes a thing because now you're getting used to it, and it's nice at the time, young tall. So I'd say because of the free time and the mental space I was in.
Okay.
It's what contributed to me doing that. But I didn't have a drinking problem. Let's iron that out. I didn't have a drinking problem. I was not much of a drinker anyways.
That's why you couldn't get
Yeah, I was not much of a drinker anyways, yeah.
You still want to play if you're given an opportunity. But you play soccer or go back to Zeda Boys, which one would you take?
I still obviously I still want to
Zeda Boys.
No, here's what I feel like. I feel like sometimes in playing good, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I can tell you, serious. These things I know. Once people they can see, because I could hear into. They say so. But I want to really Thabo Mnyamane ka talk bana plus bana ba 2 minutes. And Thabo Mnyamane 2 minutes. Thabo Mnyamane ka say 2 minutes abanye bathi. Sometimes esabangani. Abakhona ukubona inhlanhla zabo nabanye bakutshela ukuthi bayenzani bamba into zabo bakutshela ukuthi ayazini kuze ngithole something with 1 2 3 lawyer uyone lakhe ngenze example angisho ukuthi Zeda Boys eyenze kanjalo senyasho because motho ebheka ayenze sense Gerald ukuthi abantu kungathi phela nina many tight njengamalegini then 2 minutes hey man. So that's why I'm asking you, maybe ngathi khetha ukubuyela ku Zeda Boys or to play soccer full time and forget about this thing, which one would you take and which team would you love to play for?
Now obviously I still want to play soccer. I still believe that I'm only 31.
Yeah,
and I believe I'm still top. Yeah, I don't have injuries anymore.
Okay.
I am training with Tux at the moment. Okay. I've been there for like a few months.
Okay.
Yeah, so my injuries are gone. I'm fully fit and I'm 31, so I still believe that I can offer a lot, in our league. And
before you answer, club.
Yeah.
Look at me. Are you looking at me?
I'm looking at you.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah.
Have balls, man. Come now.
Yeah. Obviously, I want to play for the best team.
How you keep best team?
No, I'm going to
try to find 16 teams and the best team.
I want to play for one of the best teams in Africa, which is Sundowns, obviously.
I go shoot for the Zeda Boys.
Eh?
Usayifuna bhek Zeda Boys.
No, it's not like that. I'm talking on football standpoint.
Nami, I'm talking about. Go to church. You still want to go back to Zeda Boys?
Stock in China.
So you want to play for Sundowns?
Yeah.
Can you still love Zeda Boys? Yes, not Zeda Boys, Gerald.
Yeah, manje mawufuna ukudlalela Sundowns, who says impossible ukwenza into oyithandayo. You have a profile that allows you to go to any football club. Yeah. I saw it, everyone saw it. Ushainet, did you play for Bafana Bafana?
Yes, I did.
How many times?
3 call-ups, 1 goal. Yeah, first call-up, 1 goal.
That is big. That is huge. And how was your time there? How did it change impilo yako from when you started out? Was the ambition the same, the drive, and the fire in general before you played for the national team?
When I started playing, I played for Tuks. When I got there, I was 21. I just wanted to play. I was happy to play, be in the lineup, and whatnot. But then when I got my call-up, I was still at Tuks. I got my call-up 2015. And I just broke into the PSL. And then that's when my mindset shifted to think, okay, as in, like, I think I can do this thing. I'm actually good at this thing. Because when I got to the national team, it was star-studded. We had Itu, we had all the players you can think of, Serrero, Opa at the time, Andile, Mukocho, at the time. Yeah. I was just happy to be there. I was just happy to be there. And then when I got my first lineup that I scored in the first match I was called up for, that's when my mindset shifted to think.
People would say, bravo, Malaka.
That's when I realized, you know what, I can actually push this thing. And since that day, I think my mindset shifted and I started pushing myself. That's why I ended up doing so well, Tuks, moved to Supersport and whatnot, yeah.
What would you say to these boys that are currently playing now? There's a kid probably who's playing for my DDC team who wants to be a finisher like you, but who could get advice on how he should live his life and things in general, Jay?
It's very simple. Before I started, I mentioned the pillars, So I believe in the fundamentals of education, football. So education, I believe each and every athlete that's coming now, soccer player that's coming into the system now, should be educated. And we should drive this thing of players going to school. This thing of players dropping out of high school, they got a breakthrough into their first team or playing DDC. We shouldn't encourage that as coaches, as the system, because that's to their detriment. After 10 years, he doesn't have anything to fall back on, you understand? And this is the culture that has been happening in South Africa. If we and then we neglect school, and which is not right, because before he's a soccer player, he's a human being, and he has the right to education, and we don't practice that in this system. So the first pillar is to go to school. Go to school. You don't have to have an honors degree. You don't have to do a master's or whatnot. Go to school, finish your matric, get a certificate in whatever you like, digital marketing or soft skill yourself. And the other thing is that invest in your craft. This thing of I'm a soccer player hanging out with rappers, for me, it doesn't make sense because you live 2 different lifestyles. And a lot of us are attracted to that. Because you have the limelight, you want to attract certain industries, and you should be focusing on your craft and perfecting your craft. This thing is going to help you. This is a stepping stone. If football is not the end of it, but it's the start of your life, because from 35 to 70, that's when your real life starts. And a lot of us think that from 21 to 35, that's it for me. And that's not the true reflection of a human's lifespan. The human's lifespan starts at about 40, because the first, from 20 to 30 to 40, you're still trying to figure out what you want to do in life. And a lot of soccer players don't think like that, So for the upcoming soccer players, they must go to school. Go to school, and the system must allow the players to go to school.
Bully them to go to
must
school.
bully them to go to school. Don't allow someone to say, I'm coach, I dropped out, I want to focus on football. When football ends, you can have 3 contracts and that's it. We know players that came into the system, had 1 contract and fall off the wagon. So where are they now? And they dropped out of school. You understand? And then the last pillar is that the families you come from, most of us are breadwinners at home. And once we break through, we have a bigger voice than our parents. And this thing must also be done away with. Just because you're earning money, you shouldn't now be the voice of the house. You still have parents or guardians that are looking after you, and you still need to respect them, regardless of how much you're earning, regardless of where you are in your life, because those people are the ones that helped you get where you are. You might find that your mom or your guardian broke their back to put food on the table for you to be able to have a full stomach to go to training. now that you play in the PSL, now you feel like you can disrespect them. So when we started, I said education, football, and safety, which is home. Those are the 3 pillars that we still need to implement in the system and perfect for the next coming generation of footballers.
Do you think we can start an English class, me and you, on Saturdays? You'll be the teacher, I'll collect the money, he'll be the usher.
Now, you can definitely do that. But I just think English is not the barrier of excellence or intelligence.
Marama ukhuluma kanje iba barrier of excellence and what not out here. But in any case, nangu makhanda mina awuthama ngiphelelwa amandla on ngaphuma kule ndaba.
Hey, you speaking English. This is the kind of the person I want to be when I grow up, to speak fluent, you know, and like to speak something that people will hear and understand. I like how you speak. You know, I might not be the good English speaker, but the way you're speaking,
Mara now asekudlala so improving. Asekujoka improving.
I think it's because of you.
Front.
It's because of your improvement that maybe education. I've learned something from you. Education, soccer, safety home. But when I change career, let's say you can even say career, right?
Career,
safety
yes.
home, yeah.
As long as singana mkhakha wakho bengithi uzothatha la ku SUT sex or asifuni into ezinjalo siyachange manje.
No, mina ngimnandi.
Nami ngimnandi.
Okay, bafethu, thank impilo, thank imali sijukujuku mawala mavula vala mawida bafethu trip and pass Gerald bafethu sithanda ukubonga kakhulu bafethu Thabo Mnyamane for kusitshela yonke into bafethu. I hope abaningi bafethu bazoyibhekelela bafethu le episode. Most of you guys nizofunda ziningi izinto azikhulumile bafethu, lifestyle, abangani nani bafethu. For manje ithi sivaleni ke thina i trip and pass yami no Gerald and sijuku. Thank impilo, thank imali uvalo dololo asibonge.